You're in for a big learning in this video. Look at this question, a data sufficiency official question where nobody marked A and B and barely anyone marked choice D. It was only a battle between two choices, C and E. So people were very clear that statement 1 alone is not sufficient, 2 alone is not sufficient, but there is so much confusion when it came to combining the statements. What is it that really tripped so many people? And if you see the time that people spent on it, it's almost the same. I can really see that the people who got it wrong spent about 15 seconds less on average than the people who got it correct, which means it was just about that final layer of caution that these people did apply, but these people did not. Hi, my name is Shweta Koshija. I've been preparing students for these standardized international tests GMAT, GRE, SAT for over 11 years now. Through this channel, my goal is to share my experience after having worked with thousands of students so that you don't make the same mistakes, so that you do it right. Here you go. So it says how many hours would it take pump A and pump B working together, each at its own constant rate, to empty a tank that was initially full? Okay, so if I take my work to be this one tank, then I am interested in knowing the time that A and B will take together to empty this tank. So I need information about either A and B together somehow or about A separately, B separately so that I can combine. Let's see. Statement 1. Working alone at its constant rate, pump A would empty the full tank in 4 hours 20 minutes. That means if I'm talking about work, it's the same one work, the same one tank I'm talking about. And this is pump A, by the way. It says pump A would empty it alone in 4 hours 20 minutes. So 4, and let me write it as a mixed fraction like this. These many hours A would take. So I can get the rate at which pump A works. I can do work upon time. I can find this. Now, I don't know anything about B. So it's very obvious statement 1 alone is not sufficient. And as you saw in my initial data, that nobody fell for this. Statement 2 alone. Working alone, pump B would empty the full tank at its constant rate of 72 liters per minute. So if you look at statement 2 alone, let me put that in blue, then it says pump B is going to empty the full tank at its rate of 72 liters per minute. Well, I'm going in hours, so I can find this rate in hours as well. This is the per hour number of liters. And it says pump B would empty the full tank. So it still seems like it's the full tank, one work. Now you would think you can find time from this. So in a way, you know individual rate of B, you know individual rate of A when you combine the two statements. This is where so many people feel that it is choice C. Now I'll tell you what's wrong with this. It's a very subtle layer in a medium difficulty question, such a small thing that is so easy to miss. See what exactly went wrong here. It said pump B would empty the full tank at its constant rate of 72 liters per minute. It would empty? Yes, okay, it would. But when? How long will it take for that? You'll be thinking, why can I not just find time like this? Well, your work is in number of tanks. I've taken it to be one tank. Your rate here is number of liters in B. It should also have been number of tanks per hour. Had that been the case, I would have been able to find individual time, although I needed rate only. But the rate that I'm looking at should have the same unit as the work I'm doing. This question does not have that. So it gives you the illusion that you have rate 1 to be calculated from here and rate 2 is already given. That illusion costs you this question. You mark your answer in about 1 minute and you're like, oh, that was a simple question. I knew I just simply wanted the rates. But did you pay attention to the units? No, that's what those people who got it right did. That extra 15 seconds they spent, they understood that there's a twist here in the units that they played you with. Answer is E because you've no way to find out the rate in terms of tanks per hour. Why? Because I have no idea about the capacity of the tank. No way for me to connect this one tank with any number of liters. That's the beauty when you're doing quant, when you're doing DI, when you're doing any question. Often concepts are simple, but we still get tripped. Why? Because it is some layer that we're missing. So promise yourself that when you read a question, you are going to make sure that when you translate your information bite sized, you will always pause to draw inferences. You will always, when you're making a representation like this, which feels so foolproof, you will not just write work rate time, you will also write down the units because a very, very popular trap is units. It's very easy for this to hide in plain sight. So, small lesson, but huge power. I hope this helped. Happy learning.